Okay, so the next question. Determine the equation of the line that has the same slope as 7x plus 4y. So 7x plus 4y equals 20. Okay, and we want the same slope as this equation. So we need to isolate y, get mx plus b, and then find m. The process, get y by itself, so we've got to subtract the 7x from both sides. And you end up with 4y equals negative 7x plus 20. Okay, this is straight algebra. We just subtracted the 7x, and we're left with 4y. Of course, 4y is 4 multiplied by y, so divide by 4. Divide by 4. Y equals negative 7 over 4x plus 5. Divided by 4 there. And there's my equation, and there's my slope, negative 7 over 4. So I have my slope. Negative 7 over 4 is the slope that I needed. And now it says, and the same x-intercept as 9x minus 11y equals 54. So it has to have the same x-intercept. So when you're at the x-intercept, y is equal to 0. So I'm going to sub in y equals 0. Subbed in y equals 0. Simplify it, you end up with 9x equals 54. Divide by 9, divide by 9. X equals okay, so x equals 6. At this point, you know the point, the x-intercept, is 6, 0. It's the x-intercept, not the y-intercept. X-intercept at 6, 0. You also know the slope. The slope is, from the previous equation, negative 7 over 4x. So, you've got y equals negative 7 over 4x plus b. B is the y-intercept, not the x-intercept, so you can't sub it in. You just have to figure out the y-intercept. How do you do that? You need a point. Do we have a point? Yes, we have the x-intercept. That is a point. So let's use that point to solve for b. So 0 equals negative 7 over 4 times 6 plus b. 0 equals negative 7 over 4 times 6 plus b. The 6, 0 is the x-intercept that you solved, and we need to figure out what this is going to turn into. So 0 equals, let's go negative 42 divided by 4. Negative 10.5. Zero equals negative 10.5 plus b. Add 10.5 to both sides to get b by itself. And you find out that 10.5 equals b. So we isolated and we got 10.5. 10.5 is equal to b. So my new equation is y equals negative 7 over 4 x plus 10.5. All right. So there's my new equation. Y equals negative 7 over 4x plus 10.5. And we did that by solving for b using algebra. And essentially, really used algebra to find the intercept, used algebra to find the slope. All of this applications of the algebra that we had covered earlier in the semester. The basically last thing we covered before we left for March break. Last question. Emma has a gym membership. She pays a monthly fee to be part of the club. She also has to pay for each of the classes she takes. This is very similar to one of the application questions on the test. Instead of a gym membership, I think it was painting labor. The labor costs X amount of dollars and then per paint can. This time she pays monthly fee. That's the same as the labor. It's a constant fixed price. Plus she has to pay for each of the classes. 1 month she takes 6 classes. That's my X. And pays $33. There's my Y. The next month she takes 11 classes. Pays $45. So I have 2 points. From there, I need to determine the equation that could be used to model the situation. So my 2 points. Determine an equation to model the situation. How much does her membership cost each month? How much does she have to pay per class? All right, so let's first determine the equation because that'll give me the other 2 answers anyway. To do this, you need slope first. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and let's call point 1, point 2. Okay, I just randomly called point 1 and point 2, and I'm going to sub them into my equation. Again, this should be at this point fairly simple. All right, you should have been working on the slope equation for a while now, so we should be able to pop this in relatively quickly. So y2 is 45, y1 is 33, x2 is 11, x1 is 6, equals 12 over 6 equals 2. Okay, 45, 33, 11, 6 is 12 and 2, which is just 6. So that's my slope. So y equals 6x plus b, where 6 is the amount you're paying per class. It's your slope, your rate. So how much does she have to pay for each class? That's question C. The answer is 6. It's my slope. That is how much she pays per class. She also has to pay a membership fee, a fixed fee every month. So that's what we're finding next, the B. That's going to give you your fixed cost, because if you do 0 classes, you still have to pay. How much is it? It's my fixed cost. It's my membership cost. It's my y-intercept. To get my y-intercept, I need to sub in a point. So I'm just going to randomly sub in a point. 6 and 33 is going to be my point. 6 classes, $33. I think I just messed up. Let's see. There's the 2, not a 6. That's a 2. That means $2 per class. $2 per class, not $6 per class. I think I just said 6 because I wrote 6. So it's $2 per class. That is my cost per class. And then when I sub in the 6, I get 12. So 33 equals 12 plus B. So a step ahead of myself. Subtract 12 from both sides. And you get 21 equals B. 21 equals B. So your final equation is y equals 2x plus 21. That's my final equation for this situation. I did that by finding the slope first, then finding the y-intercept by subbing in a point. I found the slope by using the slope equation. And my slope is my rate. That's cost per class. That's $2. And my membership is 21. So total cost is the Y, cost per class is the $2, and my membership fee is the $21. And that covers that question. Membership, the classes, total costs. That's the equation for it. Next, we have some definitions to cover before I give you the homework. The last couple definitions, you might see some questions that are related to them. Parallel lines. To be a parallel line means you have the same slope. So to be parallel, you think of roads that are parallel. Think of Highbury and Adelaide are parallel. Wonderland is parallel to those roads. It means they go in the same direction and they do not cross each other. Doesn't matter where they're going, they do not cross each other. Could be on an angle, could be like on an angle instead of straight across. But as long as they have the same slope, but a different y-intercept, they are parallel. So to be parallel in an equation form, say y equals 3x plus 7, y equals 3x minus 2. Those would be called parallel lines because they have the same slope. To be parallel means you have the same slope. If you have the same y-intercept and the same slope, you're collinear. You're on the same line. You are the same line. So collinear, same slope, same y-intercept. Parallel, same slope, different y-intercept. There's parallel lines. The next term is perpendicular lines. To be a perpendicular line, you need a negative reciprocal. So, say for example, you had a road going left, right, and up, down. These would be perpendicular. So that means you get a 90-degree angle. And anytime you have two roads that cross each other in a 90-degree angle, you've got a perpendicular situation. So perpendicular lines, negative reciprocal. What is a negative reciprocal? Let's say your slope is y equals 3x plus 2. There's the original line, y equals 3x plus 2. To be perpendicular, you need negative reciprocal. So y equals negative 1/3 x. Let's say plus 2, same intercept. There's your perpendicular. So negative reciprocal. Remember, 3 is just 3 over 1, and the perpendicular is negative 1 over 3. It's just flipping it. So write it as a fraction, flip it, and make it negative. If it's negative, make it positive. And that's your perpendicular lines. Homework is page 290. It's on your unit lesson, so you can check it out there. And there's the end of lines.